Please call the rest of them also. Okay, so let me share screen for you guys and we'll go through the test paper. First question. A magazine reseller is trying to decide what magazines to market to which type of customers, right? He currently deals in business magazines, ABC magazine in particular, which he would like to sell to the right customer. For doing so, he needs to profile an ideal customer. What are the characteristics that you would deem relevant for him to analyze in profiling his customers? For example, age, income, etc., and give reason for the choice of his attributes. The question this is a typical data analysis kind of a question. Any kind of a businessman, while selling his or her products, needs to find out who's the right target market, who is the right target audience to sell the product to. If, for example, say I'm having a chocolate, right? Chocolate or a TGI, that's vast. Lot of people, regardless of their age, will be willing to go for chocolates, right? So they'll be ready to have chocolates, to eat and enjoy chocolates. However, people who have diabetes, right? They obviously cannot eat and enjoy chocolates, right? So obviously, as a chocolate marketer, I need to know who is my target audience. Supposing I am manufacturing chocolates for the diabetic, say in such a way that the sweetening component that is added to the chocolate does not affect them, then my target audience are diabetic people and normal people, right? So I should know as a businessman what my target audience are. Yaar enoda ideal customers. Who are these people who I can ideally serve, right? Likewise, what is happening in this question? There's a person who is a magazine reseller. Guys, do you know what is the meaning of a reseller? He's not the publisher of the magazine, right? He's a reseller. That means he buys magazines from the publisher and he sells it to customers. Okay, are you clear, guys? How many of you understand the question? Can you please open up and tell me if you understand the question or not? Come on. Yes, no, maybe, I don't understand at all. I'd like to see some responses here. I've told you that the class needs to be active, right? Janani, Dilip, and Vaishnavi Devi are the only people in the class. I said, what about the others? Come on, what about the others? Do you understand it or not? Okay. So what do you think is the answer for this question, guys? So what are the characteristics that this reseller needs to consider while he is analyzing or profiling his customers? Can anyone tell me? What did you write for this question? Come on. Interest. Okay. What else? Interest is it's correct, but it's very broad a term. Okay, interest, which for me, okay, and then a domain subjects interest. What else? What else? Other than interest, what else? Come on, guys. What else other than interest would you try to find out? And if a common sense question, then or magazine, are you going? You're trying to assess if you have sold it to the right audience. What are the factors you need to check? Come on. Is interest the only thing? Ayuga Meenakshi, can you tell me something else? Some other parameter? Ayuga Meenakshi? Come on, guys. Come forward and answer. Come forward and answer. I want you guys to be open, outspoken. That's when you can find out if you're thinking correct. Come on. Durga Devi, can you answer? What else should the person look out for? Do you understand the question, Durga Devi? Durga Devi, come on, ma. Job. Correct. Very good. Job. What else? What else? Let's call out someone else. Vijay Paul Raj, can you tell me what else should the person look out for? Where in a So Vaishnavi Devi said interest. Durga Devi said job. What else? Vijay Paul Raj, can you please unmute yourself and answer that? Where in a what other parameter is required
Gender
other than enapa? Gender.
Gender
Okay, good. Gender. Okay. Philiban, can you tell me any other parameter? Philiban, any other parameter? Lifestyle, working or studying. Very good. Very good. Okay. That's pretty much about it. You've covered all the major parameters that have to be looked out for. Nobody said income though. It's actually given in the question. Age, income, gender, lifestyle, job, interest. These are some of the things that will influence the purchase of the magazine. For example, if it's going to be a business magazine, and if I am a 10-year-old guy, why would I want to study a business magazine? Right? If it's going to be a magazine about lifestyle and home decor, if I am a person who's completely interested in cars and I don't like home decor, why am I going to buy this magazine? Right? So you need to think in a common sense basis why certain aspects of data are more important in a given situation than others. This is a very, very key skill that you should cultivate as part of the AIML course. Next question. The reseller in Chennai has tie-ups with 30 different supermarkets wherein his magazine is available for purchase. Which method do you think the business owner should choose to collect the required data about his customers in order to strengthen his business operations in Chennai? Why do you think this is the best way? Interesting. I have not covered this in class. It's deliberately an application-based question. Can someone tell me the answer to this? So he has 30 different supermarkets where this magazine is being put up for purchase, and he wants to collect information. Whatever we saw in the previous question, he wants to collect this information from the customer, right? Well, how can he do that? Can you give me some suggestions? It's a very simple question. I was surprised to see that many of you didn't answer this. Survey. Where will he administer the survey? Very good. Survey is the right answer. Where will the survey be administered? Survey should be in the shop, maybe before the billing counter. Maybe it should be an online survey after billing, right? There are so many ways where you can mention the survey is used for opinion gathering and collection. Moving on. In his survey, which next question answer. In his survey, which was answered by all the customers of the supermarket, the owner includes the following questions. Which of them is or are biased? Can anyone tell me what a biased question is? Darshini Ravichandran, can you unmute your microphone and tell me biased? What does the word biased mean? Darshini.
Hello, so favor of oneself or highly liking something.
Correct. Very good. So what does it mean for a question to be biased? Can anyone give me an example? What does it mean for a question to be biased? So Darshini gave us the correct explanation as to what biased means. What does it mean for a question to be biased? Who can tell me? What does it mean? Okay, I'll give you one question. Don't you think it is wrong for people to smoke in non-designated areas? Is this question biased or unbiased? Don't you think it is wrong for people to smoke in non-designated areas? Is this question biased or unbiased? Come on. Don't you think it is wrong for people to smoke in non-designated areas? Come on, guys. Harish, can you tell me if the question is biased or unbiased?
Biased, sir.
Yeah.
We are already expecting the answer to be no from the people we are asking the survey.
Very good. Very good. So that's the answer. So the answer is biased because we already want the person to answer no. That's why they're asking this question, right? So it's very important to understand that. What about the others? Did you understand this? The concept, did you get it? In this survey, are you interested in knowing the events that affect the world around you? Is it biased or unbiased? Are you interested in knowing the events that affect the world around you? Hidayat Nisha, can you answer? Is it biased or unbiased?
Unbiased, sir.
Good. Do you want to remain updated with the latest happenings of the technology industry? Biased or unbiased? Janani? Janani? Come on, ma. Unmute your microphone. Do you want to remain updated with the latest happenings of the technology industry? It's unbiased. Very good. Do you follow current affairs through blogs, through magazines, through newspapers, or through social media? Do you follow current affairs through blogs, through magazines, through newspapers, or through social media? Is it biased or unbiased? Who can tell me? Harish?
Unbiased, sir.
Okay. Are you ready to equip yourself with the latest know-how to become the top employee at your firm? Biased or unbiased? Are you ready to equip yourself with the latest know-how to become the top employee at your firm?
Biased, sir.
Very good. Why?
Sir, everybody, we expect the answer to be yes, sir.
Correct.
If the question is like, do you want to equip yourself, then it may be unbiased.
Correct. Very good. So here the intention is for the person is nobody's going to say, I don't want to be the top employee and I don't want to remain updated, right? So here it is forcing a particular answer from the person. So it's a biased question. Do you think it is necessary for a person to remain abreast of the latest advancements in such a fast-paced business environment? Is this biased or unbiased? Come on. Is this biased or unbiased? Karishini, do you think it is necessary for a person to remain abreast of the latest advancements in such a fast-paced business environment? Is it biased or unbiased? Karishni, can you answer now? Please unmute your microphone and answer. Come on, guys. Karishni, can you answer this? Biased. Why do you think it's biased? Why do you think it's biased, Karishni? Why do you think it's biased? Karishni, can you answer now? Again, here the answer is because it expects a yes, guys. It expects a yes. Do you think it's necessary for a person to remain abreast of the latest advancements in such a fast-paced business environment? You've already said the context of the business environment is going to be fast-paced. Obviously, the latest advancements need to be known, right? So it is a biased one.
Sir, sorry, sir. Network issue, sir.
No problem, ma'am. So it is obviously going to be a biased question, right? Okay, 1 second, just hold on. Okay. Do you think magazines are outdated, opinionated, factual, but boring or engaging? This is an unbiased one, right? Because there's no particular output, no particular direction they expect you to be leaning. Right. So look at the next question. From the survey he conducted, the dealer obtained the following details about the information about his customer: household, gender, marital status, college educated, employed, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of things here. So he's tied up with an AI-based firm in Chennai to build a consumer profiling engine which will check if the given individual can serve as a potential customer or not. Which type of learning system has the AI company designed for this purpose and why? Who can tell me the answer? Come on, guys. What do you think is the answer here? So a lot of parameters are given. And the question is, you have to find out, given these characteristics, whether person would purchase the magazine or not. Now, what kind of learning will be used here? Supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, online? What kind of learning? Come on. Anyone? Can anyone tell me what learning can be used here? Vaishnavi Devi, what learning will be used here?
Sir,
என்ன learning use பண்ணுவாங்க?
sir, unsupervised learning, sir. அதில் clustering யூஸ் பண்ணலாமா சார்?
Think again. Think again.
Yeah, support vector machine. Two groups இதில் involve ஆகுது சார். Like either potential or not potential. So we can use support vector machine of supervised learning, sir.
இந்த என்னென்ன டேட்டா அதுல இருக்குன்னு ஒரு தடவை பாருங்க. சொல்லுங்க ஹரிஷ்.
ரிக்ரெஷன் யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் சார். இது வந்து பைனரி அவுட்புட்னால கிளாசிஃபிகேஷன் டு கிளாசிஃபிகேஷன் அதனால சூப்பர்வைஸ்ட் லேர்னிங் யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். சூப்பர்வைஸ்ட் லேர்னிங் ஏன்னா பர்ச்சேசஸ் மேகசினாங்கிற ஃபீல்ட் இருக்கு பாருங்க வைஷ்ணவி. The answer is also there. If it is a labeled instance, you can use supervised learning. Yeah, look at the last data, purchases magazine, right? You also have that answer, right? இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறவங்க இந்த மேகசினை பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணுவாங்களா மாட்டாங்களாங்கிற ஆன்சர் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கு. So when the data set is labeled and you have the final answer to work with, you have to use supervised learning, right? Of course அதுல வந்து regression யூஸ் பண்ணலாம், logistic regression யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் because it's a binary outcome, or you can use classification also, right? How many of you understand this? ஏன் இது வந்து supervised learning யூஸ் பண்ணணும்னு? Students, do you want me to repeat?
Students, is that clear? எல்லாருக்கும் புரியுதா? It's 1 minute, students. Okay, so the next one. We know that machine learning is defined as follows. A computer program is said to learn from experience E with respect to some task T and performance measure P. If its performance on T as measured by P improves with E. We know this is the definition of machine learning. Right? Spam ka paathom. For this machine learning system being developed by the Chennai-based AI firm for the magazine dealer, identify E, T, and P appropriately. So who can tell me what is E here? Students, what is E? Diliban, what is E here?
So the set of data which has been given to the machine.
Very good. What is T here?
T, T as
what is the task?
Okay.
What
it is
the
to
task?
identify potential customer or not.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. And what is the performance measure we can use here?
The number of correctly identified potential customers without error.
Correct. Very good. Excellent, Diliban. You put it across very well. Good job. Everyone understands this? Everyone understands this? Yes? Very clear answer, Diliban. Well thought through and very clear.
Okay, sir.
Just give me 1 second, please. Apologies, students. Okay, next question. Can you suggest if there is any potential problem with the ML model developed using this data set? If yes, how can it be rectified? Can anyone tell me the answer? What are the potential problems that can be associated with the ML model that is developed using this data set? There is only a perfect answer. Of course, you can write anything, but the perfect answer here is the fact that there are too many data points. பாருங்க எத்தனை data points இருக்கு. Household income, gender, marital status, college educated, employed in profession, exactly. Lots of unrelated attributes. So this may lead to what? What can this lead to? If there are a lot of attributes in a machine learning model, what can it lead to? Come on. Harish, I think you know the answer here. Lot of machine learning attributes in the model.
Overfitting.
That's all. Very good. So the answer here is overfitting, right? When you have too many attributes on the basis of which you give a particular result, it will result in overfitting. Okay. So keep that in mind. So that is the major drawback associated with this particular model. Okay. Next. Moving on. Let us suppose there's another competitor for this magazine dealer in the market who deals with another equally popular business magazine, MNS. So the magazine dealer now wishes to find out how best he can improve his magazine to improve sales and widen the customer base. So he creates the following question to be circulated to all his customers as part of the survey. For the current price of $5 a copy, will you purchase the ABC magazine or would you prefer to purchase an edition of MNS? இதான் அவர் கேட்கிற கொஸ்டின். இந்த கொஸ்டினை வந்து $5 பிரைஸ்ங்கிறது கரெக்டா இல்லையான்னு டிட்டர்மின் பண்றதுக்காக he is circulating this question. For a current price of $5 a copy, will you purchase the ABC magazine or would you prefer to purchase an edition of MNS? What reasons would you attribute to purchasing the ABC magazine? Will this survey get him the desired response? Why not? Come on, students. What do you think is the answer for this? No one? No answers for this?
The question is the survey is biased, sir. He's only asking these questions to already people subscribe to his magazine.
Already என்னப்பா ஹரிஷ் வாய்ஸ் ரொம்ப லோவா கேக்குது.
biased.
Okay, so this is biased because what happens here for the current price of $5 a copy, will you buy ABC magazine or would you prefer to buy an edition of MNS? So how do you think this is biased? Can you repeat that, Harish? The voice actually கேட்கலப்பா.
சார் இந்த சர்வே வந்து அவரோட ஆல்ரெடி இருக்க கஸ்டமர்ஸ் தான் சார் கேக்குறாரு. அதனால அது எல்லா நார்மலா எல்லாத்தையும் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பீப்புள் அன்சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பீப்புள் எல்லாத்தையும் கேட்டாதான் அந்த
வெரி குட் வெரி குட் எல்லாருக்கும் புரியுறதா அந்த ஆன்சர். See, இதுல the major trick here is look at the question. The magazine dealer now wishes to find out how best he can improve his magazine, and to improve the sales he creates the survey to be circulated to all his customers. அவருக்கு ஏற்கனவே இருக்கிற customers குள்ள he's circulating this question, right? So obviously he's not going to get the right answer. His customers are already buying his magazine, right? Why would he even know why the other customers don't buy? Because the audience chosen for this survey is not correct. Do you all understand this answer? Alagu Meenakshi, Diliban, Vaishnavi Devi, Kirtana, Kumaravel, Moshmi, Nitish Ram, Preeti, Priyanka, Saranya, Sharmila, no answers. What happened, guys? Shubhashweta, Sujit, Puriyarda. The question ki enna answer nu Puriyarda. See, you have to think a bit. Konja think panninga, you get the answer. What about the others? Are you following the discussion or not? Okay. Eighth question. I own a mobile app development company and we are currently building an app that predicts stock prices based on sentiment analysis. What kind of a learning system would you suggest to best suit the purpose? Justify your design decisions. Okay. So I own a mobile app development company. We are currently building an app that predicts stock prices based on sentiment analysis. What kind of a learning system would you suggest to best suit the purpose and justify your design decisions? So mobile app development, if you're going to predict stock prices based on sentiment analysis, any ideas here? What are the things that you could use? Vaishnavi Devi, can you tell me here? Enna pannuvinga?
Online learning, sir.
Yeah, very good. That's the answer. But why?
Changes in the stock prices, sir.
Very good. Very good. Absolutely. That's the answer. So you have to use online learning because there'll be continuously changing data, rapidly changing data. And in response to that, you need to evolve the system. So you have to use online learning. Okay. Question number 9. Our business develops AI and IoT-based solutions for modern homes. We have currently designed the following system. We have implanted voltage-sensitive sensors in the house to detect food or water spills throughout. And we have an automated and intelligent cleaning robot that immediately arrives at the location of the spill and cleans it up based on interpreting the information it receives from the sensors. Of late, I've observed that the robot does not perform properly and keeps cleaning already clean spots. What could potentially be the reason for the behavior, and suggest 2 ways to improve the situation without involving any hardware-based improvements to the robot? Who can tell me the answer? Enna reason irukala? So there's a robot which performs automated cleaning, but somehow you find out it's continuously cleaning the same spot. What could be the reason? Anyone? Anyone? That's difficult the question. It's quite straightforward. So there is a robot which is not doing well. There's some reason why it's not doing well. What could be the reason? The key here in this question is it interprets the information it receives from the sensors. It's possible the sensors are damaged, right? Over time, the sensors may have gotten deprecated or damaged. So what happens? The quality of the data it gets keeps deteriorating over time. Correct? And our students, can you please answer yes or no? Yes or no, students? Do you understand this? The sensors give the data to the robot. The sensors may have deteriorated over time, right? Yes, no? You
Yes, sir.
understand? Okay. So the sensors would have deteriorated over time means the data it receives would have gone sour. So obviously the predictions are also going south. So what are some of the things you could do? Right? You can't replace the sensors obviously because no hardware changes are allowed. So what you could do is, what could you do? You could switch off learning, right? That's the first thing you could do. What does it mean to switch off learning? The new data is not used for learning. So if it is an online learning system, you can switch off the learning, or you can you can decrease the learning rate, right? So that the new data is not going to affect the learning and decisions as much as the older data, right? Or what else could you do? What else? There's one more way you could do this. One more way. Harish, can you say that? What is one other way you can do this? Other than changing the data, any other way?
So changing the learning method like reinforcement learning.
Correct. Very good. Changing the learning method. So reinforcement learning is the right way of going about it, right? Okay. Everyone understood the answer to this question? Yes or no? கொஞ்சம் different ஆதான் பார்க்கும் the question. You just need to think a bit and you'll be able to do it. Okay. Okay. Fine. Right. Next question. What is the advantage of instance-based learning algorithms as compared to model-based learning algorithms? What is one advantage of instance-based learning algorithms when compared to model-based learning? Any advantage of instance-based learning? Any advantage? Come on, guys. Instance-based learning, you use that particular instance, you determine the similarity with the incoming one, and you find out to make a certain decision, right? Model-based is when you observe multiple instances and you develop a mathematical model in order to be able to build the requisite infra, right? To need it for decision making. Okay. So come on, can you tell me? No one? Minapa? What happened, everyone? What could be an advantage? Think right or wrong is a different thing. Adapt to previously unseen data. How so? How so? Instance-based learning, you have only one instance. You want to see the similarity with an existing instance. Anyone else? Anyone else feels anything? Anyone else? Come on, guys. Harish, any ideas? What is one advantage of instance-based learning versus model-based learning?
Instance-based learning will be more faster.
Exactly. Exactly. It is the best advantage. More faster, lesser storage space, right? So instance-based learning is much faster. That's the only advantage that it has over model-based learning. Okay, again, it depends on situation to situation. Question number 11. I'm building a system to analyze biased news items so as to help people discern factual news items from partisan ones. What do you think will be the major challenge in building such a classifier? Shubhashweta, can you tell me the answer? What do you think is the answer? I'm building a system to analyze biased news items so as to help people find out what news item is biased and what is factual. What is the difficulty in building such a classifier? Shubhashweta, கொஞ்சம் unmute பண்ணி answer பண்ணுங்க. Come on, Shubhashweta. What do you think is the answer? தைரியமா சொல்லுங்க. See, there's no right or wrong answer. First, let's find out your thinking. It's the first test, right? It's fine. It's okay. So I want you to think about it. Sharmila, can you answer? Sharmila. Sharmila, சொல்லுங்கம்மா. Can you answer this question? Yes or no? What do you think is the difficulty in building a biased or unbiased news classifier? Sujit? Sujit, can you answer, Pa? Sujit? Okay. Don't you think it's difficult, first of all, to collect the required data, guys? How do you find out which news is biased and which is unbiased? Who's the deciding authority? Who's the deciding authority? No one, right? News that you think is biased may not be maybe unbiased to someone else, right? That's why we all watch different news channels. We all read different newspapers. We subscribe to different theories. So how can you say what is unbiased to one may be biased to another, right? So collecting the requisite data in order to train the system is going to be a challenge. Do you understand the answer to this question? Everyone, I want to hear a yes or a no. Guys, the reason we hold these sessions is to ensure that you also understand what's happening. Yes or no, I want to find out. Yes,
Sir.
no. Cholunga,
Sir, one doubt, sir.
yes, ma, please tell.
Same news can be conveyed in different forms by different medias. Whether
Exactly.
this can also, yes, sir.
Exactly, right? That is what is bias, Riyama. When there is no exact factual representation of what happened, and you try to interpret it in your own way and say something, that is exactly what bias is, correct?
Yes, sir.
Everyone else, did you understand the answer? Yes, no, come on, guys. I want to see more activity in the chat. Yes, no. I don't even know what you're talking about. Come on, guys. Same set of people. What about the others? Right. Question number 12. Why do we need utility functions? Can you suggest 2 examples of utility function and explain why you chose those particular mathematical functions? What is a utility function, guys? Who can tell me? Vaishnavi Devi, can you tell me what is a utility function?
Yes, sir. It measures how good our model is.
Very good. That's all. And what are some examples of utility functions? Can you think of any? How good a model is? What is it that you should measure?
Accuracy return.
Very good. Very good. How can you measure accuracy, mathematically speaking? One way is saying how many correct instances out of total number of instances. That's one way. Another way, if, for example, I were to predict the value of a calculation and I say something, right? How do you find out how accurate or not it is?
Probably. No, sir.
Think. So, for example, the correct answer is 10, but the answer I got is 9. How close am I to the answer? How do I find out? 10 minus 9 by 10.
10.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
So that is, so the difference between the actual answer and your answer could be one way, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
question, if it is going to be just the difference, then you know some differences may be positive, some may be negative. So 11 minus 10 is 1, but 9 minus 10 is minus 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
But both are only 1 unit away from the actual answer.
Yes.
Then how do you remove the negative positive sign? What function is used?
Absolute-
Very good.
absolute.
Very good. Absolute value. Any other way to remove the negative positive sign? Absolute value, Maria.
Modulus.
Modulus and absolute are the same. Ma?
Yes, sir.
What else? Any other operation that removes negative sign? Squaring, right? When you square a negative number, it becomes positive. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is called the root mean square value. Have all of you read about RMS? Do you know what RMS means? Root mean square? 11th standard thermodynamics. Square root of the velocity, sum of the squares of velocities divided by
Yes, sir.
right? So RMS, so root mean square. I know this is not taught in class, but I just wanted you to think about it. So the only 2 ways wherein you can find out utility is through the root mean square and the MAE. We'll talk about both of them. MAE is when you use the modulus, right? Mean absolute error and root mean square error. So we'll talk about them in the second chapter, but just wanted to find out if you're able to think about this. 13th question. What is the need for tuning hyperparameters? Can models with different hyperparameters predict different outputs? Explain with an example. So tuning hyperparameters, why is it needed? Come on, guys, why is it needed? Why do you need to tune hyperparameters? Can anyone tell me? Hyperparameters, what is hyperparameter? Let's take a simple example. Y equal to mx plus c. What are the 2 parameters that you can alter? M and c, slope and y coefficient. We read about the degrees of freedom, if you remember, right? So you can restrict the value of m to be within a certain thing. You can restrict the value of c to be within a certain range. So you control the degree of freedom between 1 and 2. Correct? Is that right, guys? Yes. Okay. So why do you tune hyperparameters? In order to ensure that what does not happen? Hyperparameter tune padlena now. There is overfitting. Correct? Students, come on, guys. Why do you reduce the degree of a polynomial? To ensure that there is no overfitting. So you tune hyperparameters to prevent overfitting. Correct? Students, do you understand this concept or not? Yes or no? Come on, guys. Give me some answers. Only Vaishnavi Devi understands what hyperparameters are. What about the rest? For students, you should read the notes, guys. After the class happens, you should read the notes. What are hyperparameters? It is used to tune it so that you can reduce overfitting. Now, can models with different hyperparameters predict different outputs? Obviously, right? If the hyperparameter is going to be different, your function is going to vary and the outputs predicted will vary. That is the reason overfitting is prevented, right? So if you know that it's used to prevent overfitting, you know that the values predicted by it also change. So you can give an example with a linear equation wherein you constrain the degree of freedom for the intercept y equal to mx plus c. You can constrain the value of m or constrain the value of c and tell how it changes the output predicted. Okay. 14th question. If you're given unlabeled training data, can you find a way of building an optimized regression-based learning model? If you're given unlabeled training data, can you find a way of building an optimized regression-based learning model? What is the straightforward answer to this? Unlabeled data, can you build a regression-based learning model? Regression-based is what? It's going to be supervised learning. Supervised learning does not work on unlabeled data. So the answer is going to be no, right? You cannot. But there are some ways. There are some ways to do it, right? What are the ways? You could do some of the following things. First thing is, if it is unlabeled, right? You could probably use or build a classifier which could work on these unlabeled data points and sort of create probably some kind of an aggregator to find out these points are clustered, some clustering algorithm to find out where these points belong and develop a suitable labeling mechanism for them and then label the data and then build it, right? But you're supposed to answer here that directly if it is unlabeled, you cannot build a classifier, a regression-based classifier out of it because regression requires it to be labeled. However, if you modify the data and label it appropriately, you can do so. That is the answer here. Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear, guys? Okay. Next question. What must be the learning rate of an online based learning system that uses out of core learning and why? What must be the learning rate of an online learning system that uses out of core learning and why? Come on, guys. Out of core learning na when you have to load portions of the data set from the memory, when it is going to be too big, you cannot store everything in memory. So you have to load part by part and learn. So what must be the learning rate here? What will happen if the learning rate is too high?
It will produce a flat model.
Very good. Yeah.
It will not store the previous values and it will only learn
Correct.
from the models.
Very good. So it will not store the previous values and it keeps forgetting what it learns, right? So if the learning rate is very high, it forgets what it learns. Students are able to understand this out of core learning. Very good. Moderate is the right answer because it can't be too low, obviously, because it will not pick up the trend. It cannot be too high because it will forget. So moderate should be the answer, right? Okay, everyone, all answers to the test questions are clear. Okay, you'll get your graded tests back soon. Okay. Okay, guys, let's meet next week and we'll discuss our classes. So next week, in the 2 hours class, guys, this was the first week. Plus, there were some of these confusions with the other classes that were going on. So from next week onwards, you'll have complete 2-hour classes as we had spoken about earlier. Okay, is that clear, all the guys, students, everyone clear about this? Please give me a thumbs up. So I mentioned Monday and Friday classes, so please be ready next week. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you everyone, and have a